This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and today I am talking to Damn the Torpedoes in No, We Are Not at a War. This is a tribute band to Tom Petty, and I have Rich, you're going to have to pronounce your last name for me before I butcher it.
It's Rich Kubicz.
Kubicz. Okay.
Yes.
I won't ruin it this point forward. So, Tom Petty Band, what got you guys started?
Well, I started the band back in 2007. I started it because I've been playing music for quite a long time. I have my own CD also that I did, and I'm working on original projects and things like that. But I really wanted to get out and play, and I wanted to do something a little bit more, let's say, a little bit more entertaining than just your average bar band that plays the same old covers over and over again. And I looked at Tom Petty because Tom Petty was somebody who I admired as I was, growing up, and his music has always been something that I loved. And having been a cover musician, doing other covers of other rock and roll and classic rock and stuff, I thought that the novelty of doing a tribute band would be a little bit more special, afford us the opportunity to play larger venues. And it was also, it also gave us sort of a challenge because we wanted to try to find something where we would be able to mimic recordings in a way that would sound incredibly close to the records, rather than interpreting classic rock music in a bar setting. So I thought doing a tribute to anybody would be a step up in the entertainment world, and I chose Tom because of the extensive catalog of music that he does, and also the fact that he was one of the great cover musicians of his time, also covering a lot of his influences as he was getting through the ranks doing his original material. So that's how I started out in 2007.
And it's 2019.
And here we are, 12 years later.
Right. So who all is in the band?
Okay, so, to give you a real brief history, the band has been a revolving door of some really sensational musicians, but up until the last maybe 5.5 to 6 years is where I have this lineup steady with me. The first person on board for the new lineup, or the lineup that's current, is Jimmy Allen. Jimmy Allen is my lead guitar player. Then later on, we added two guys together. We needed a rhythm section, so we got ourselves Ross Cantor on the drums and plays and sings background vocals. And he came along with a colleague of his named John Proven. And John is a incredible musician. Not only plays the bass for us, but he also plays the piano, does the background harmonies. And then finally, a little bit shortly after, when we needed a real solid and steady keyboard player, we found Gary Castelluccio. And Gary Castelluccio plays the keys. He does background vocals, and also, luckily for us, he plays the harmonica, and once in a while he'll pull out his mandolin, and we can also get him to use the guitar. He's like our Scott Thurston of the band.
I love it.
And Montench Scott Thurston, because he does a lot of different instruments for us.
Sure.
So those are the guys in the band. Well, occasionally we also have a young lady named Melinda Davis, who's a fantastic vocalist, and she'll do our Stevie Nicks for us.
Ooh.
So, yep.
What a nice combination you have there. So where do you all come from? I mean,
we are central, north, and west New Jerseyans.
Okay.
We don't all live near each other, but we all, when we do rehearse, we rehearse at our own studio in Clifton, and we don't get out to rehearse that often because now that we've been gigging as much as we do, we kind of have our repertoire down. But whenever we add some new music, we'll get together. So, North, Central, and Western New Jersey is where we're from.
Love it. So, it's interesting that one of the things you just said was that, you don't have to get together to rehearse, that often, because you know how to play with each other, you understand each other. And I think that's exceptional, because a lot of us don't sort of get that. We think that you spend all your waking hours when you're not performing on stage rehearsing. But do you rehearse independently? Does that help?
Well, here's the way I believe the best way to take an approach to the music that we do. When I'm first handing out the music to people that begin with me, they get a list of songs, and we tell them, listen, we're going to have a rehearsal on a certain date. Here's 6 songs that we should come in and know.
Okay.
So a professional musician is not going to come in there to learn the song. They're going to come in there knowing the song. And basically, we're only getting together to make sure that we're all on the same page with the song.
Love it.
It's gotten to a point where the guys that I play with, I never have to worry. If I told them that I wanted to play this new song, and we didn't have a time for a rehearsal, but perhaps we were going to try to play it, somebody told us that they wanted to hear a certain song that we never played before at Cafe Lena, I would tell the guys, let's try to do this one at sound check, see how it goes. If it sounds good together and we don't need any more rehearsals, we'll just play it tonight. And you know what? It's happened many, many times where we didn't even have a proper rehearsal. All we did was do a sound check.
Sure.
We had a song that I had the guys prepare, and I never had a complaint about the fact that somebody came in there not knowing the song. Not with this lineup.
And I find that amazing, because my son is a vocalist, and he performed all the way through grade school, high school, into college, and still some today. Mm-hmm. And, he always rehearses in his head. And, we'd be going to a performance, and I would say to him, have you been rehearsing? He said, please be quiet. And I said, why? I am right now. And it's like, I don't hear any sound. But he could do everything he needed, silently, and then get up on stage and perform. Yeah. And like you said, maybe it was a slight sound check with the band or whoever was going to accompany him. And I always thought that was unique for him, but I'm now learning that true artists do a lot of that. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a way to to approach something professionally. I mean, if you're getting prepared to do something, there's a lot of people that you can disappoint if you don't know what you're doing.
Sure.
The first thing is your audience, obviously, but the second thing would be to disappoint the other guys around you. We're all here in it together, and we all have this vision and this mission to make sure that we do these things correctly. And I'm really blessed to have 4 guys with me, or even 5, because Melinda comes in knowing her stuff too.
Sure.
And I'm blessed to say that they take this thing seriously, and there's no laziness here. Everybody knows what they come in and they know what they're doing, and they're excited about what they're doing. And that's the thing that gets me, really excited about being with them. So, we don't want to disappoint each other. We don't want to disappoint our audiences, and we're all on the same page as far as that's concerned.
So, is this going to be your first time at Cafe Lena, or have you been there before?
No, this is our first one.
Okay.
There, yeah.
Well, that's even more exciting. Now, they have a very small stage. So are you all prepared to be, rubbing elbows on stage?
We've done it before. We played some really small places to the point where I couldn't even use my pedal board on the stage.
Wow.
I'd have to take the pedals off because it just wouldn't fit the footprint of the stage.
Sure.
And but then we've also played in front of 6,000 people in larger venues as well. We don't discriminate when it comes to that. What we do is we can adjust our show to certain venues. So you'll hear some things differently than others. Not the music itself, but just the flow of the show. Because we've done everything from. We don't often play the bar scene anymore because we do present the show, and bars don't really normally afford for the show. What they do is they want to have 3 45-minute sets, and they want to start at 10, and they want you to end at 1, and we simply don't do that anymore. Actually, as a tribute, that's been long gone.
Sure.
But then we have the cabaret shows. We have theater shows, we have festival shows, and all of those shows are a little bit different type of energy, a little bit different type of crowd, and the flow has to be different, so our set lists get adjusted for that. But as far as the small shows are concerned, we like the intimate crowd sometimes too, and sometimes we'll let our hair down, so to speak, and we'll do some songs that are a little bit more off the cuff and something that you haven't heard us do that often, because it's a smaller, more intimate venue.
Right.
So,
well, you're going to a great concert hall. I mean, Cafe Lena has such a rich history behind it, and some of the greatest of the greats have played there. And knowing Sarah Craig and everyone who puts Cafe Lena, together, they wouldn't have selected you to come play there if you weren't up in that category. And I think that's a tribute to you that you'll be playing there. And you'll be playing there on Friday, the 17th of May. So that's just a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
And besides you being as good as you are, because I've been listening to your music, you should be filling the house because that's a big weekend for Cafe Lena. So we're doing a special one-day concert on Sunday in tribute to a gentleman who was very special in the area and who passed away a couple years ago. So
sorry to hear that.
So people will be, coming in from out of town, and I just encourage them to come see you. My husband and I already have it on our calendar. We should be arriving sometime that afternoon. And so I'm just going to let Sarah know that we'll probably be standing in a doorway somewhere, just, taking it all in. How can people find you if they want to follow you, get your music?
Okay, everything all our social media and all that stuff has the recurring theme of Petty Tunes. So in other words, we're www.pettytunes.com.
Okay.
Or www.facebook.com/pettytunes. Or www.com/Twitter Petty Tunes.
Okay.
And Instagram Petty Tunes. So everything is Petty Tunes.
Well, we'll make sure that we put that in the description for the podcast so people will get out there and check you out. Yeah. And do you travel around the United States and play, or do you mostly stay in the East?
At the moment, we have traveled pretty extensively. We've had some offers outside of the East Coast region. I mean, we've gone from our New Jersey base. We've gone as far south as Virginia.
Okay.
And as far north as New Hampshire. Or actually, Niagara Falls would probably be the furthest north that we've been. And then throughout, Pennsylvania seems to be a very huge market for us. I think we get the best and the most robust and happiest fans in Pennsylvania.
Well,
but we also do really, really well in upstate New York. We've played Cohoes and we've played Athens and Albany and things like that.
Sure.
So we're looking forward to coming out.
Well, we're going to have to get you to Cleveland so that you can play at the Rock Hall. I think that would
Oh,
be
sure.
phenomenal.
We'd love to get there.
So, I mean, we all love the music of Tom Petty, and like I said, listening to you guys play, you know, it's Tom Petty music, but you can also say, hey, you know, there's just a slightly different take on this, and wow, do I like it.
Yeah.
So we
Well,
look
a lot of
forward
times,
to it.
I just wanted to add
Sure.
something while you're saying, you know, a lot of times people push back a little bit on the fact that it's a tribute band. You know, like, well, you know, why are you doing somebody else's music and not your own, and things like that. And I always ask people to come with an open mind, and the reason why is because the entertainment value of this is not just the great music that we're playing. Hopefully, we're going to be playing it as closely to the records as we possibly can. But there's another level of watching a tribute act that knows what they're doing or does what they're doing. It's the level of seeing somebody else conquer the music that somebody else had written and get it, you know, to
Right.
a point where you would think that you're actually listening to the real artist do it. It's almost like listening to, you know, growing up, I used to listen to Rich Little do impressions, you know,
Right.
and it was like he was telling all the same jokes that Johnny Carson was telling, but he was telling it in Johnny Carson's voice.
Right.
So now all of a sudden the entertainment of that is not the funny joke that Johnny Carson had told one time. The entertainment is the fact that there's a man that's not Johnny Carson actually sounding like Johnny Carson and doing the joke. And that would, I don't know, I think it's a little complicated to try to explain that, but a lot of people don't understand it until they actually come into the place and
Right.
see what we're doing, you know.
Well, and you know, and I understand this very vividly because my son is one that can mimic voices, and you know, sometimes we'll walk into the house and he's talking in the voice of some political character. And I'm thinking, is that really going on the news? I mean, how dare that be going on the news? And then I realize it's him. And he, too, has done some cover music. And, again, his voice may not be exactly in the same range as the original, but, you know, you still get that wonderful quality. And you look at it and you say, you know, it's another way of telling this same beautiful story. And I love tribute bands, especially when, you know, they're creative and, you know, they're playing well. And if anybody wants to go out and check your music online, I really recommend it because you certainly will not be disappointed. So,
well, thank you so much for all your really, really nice words.
well, you're very welcome, and we hope to meet you in person. For those who can't get to Cafe Lena on that evening, please check out the concert window. What a great way to see a concert from the comfort of your own home when you live very, you know, many miles away from there. So, again, safe travels to Saratoga Springs. Say hi to the band.
Thank you.
And
I
we will
will
see you on the 17th. Thanks.
Karen, thank you so much for having us on, having me on. And I enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Bye-bye now.
Okay, you too.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.